I'm Greg Hunter. Welcome to USAWatchdog.com. Just before Christmas, a little Christmas present. As I was doing my bookings, I always pray to get the right person on the air. And I have the author of this book. This is the new updated version. It's actually two of these books. It's the updated versions. If you don't have this book, of course, you know, it's written by Mark Taylor. Mark Taylor, the firefighter that correctly predicted back in a time in 2015, I think, before anybody was predicting Donald Trump would be president, he got a prophecy, word of God. These aren't from him. This is from God, that Trump would be president, along with a lot of other prophecies we're going to talk about today. Mark Taylor, thanks for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Oh, thank you for having me on, Greg. It's always an honor to be on your show.
It's an honor to have you on the show, but you've said some wild things. Let's just start with this impeachment. You've said from the beginning he's going to be a two-term president.
Correct. He's going to be two-term president. He's going to sail right into 2020.
The impeachment thing, there's got to be Democrats that are going to hold their nose and vote yes for this. But there were two that wouldn't vote for the impeachment inquiry. One of them's going to turn into a Republican, it looks like. But I think there's going to be more than two that try to vote this thing down in the House. But you say, you told me in the pre-interview, doesn't make any difference whether they vote him down, impeach him, or whether they don't. Why do you say that?
Well, because he's not going anywhere. Well, number one, it's got to go to the Senate. So the Senate's got to vote on it, and it's no way it's going to pass the Senate. But here's the thing. I like what the president tweeted out the other day. He was talking about hurry up and take the vote. That way we can hurry up and get to the Senate trial. They can start calling some of these people to testify as to what they've done. Now, on your show, what was it, probably a year and a half ago, I prophesied for the first time that Obama would be seen in front of the entire country giving testimony. He would be spitting and sputtering. He wouldn't be able to even make one sentence as to trying to make out what he did, how he did it. And everyone upon the world would look upon this guy and say, this is the guy that almost took America down. This is the guy that everyone was afraid of. So is that part of that prophecy that was on your show going to start to come to pass in these Senate trials? Are they going to subpoena him and bring him to the Senate and give testimony? I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, that's not a big stretch. James Clapper's been on CNN, the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, on two occasions, and I heard him say it twice. He basically said Obama instructed us to do the intelligence assessment. He basically said Obama told him to do it.
Right. And so here, and God spoke to us in 2015, and he said that Obama will be ripped and stripped of the presidency. Now, is he going to be impeached? He can still be impeached. And one of the things we were talking about in the pre-interview here was the tweet that Donald Trump put out on December 15th. And I'll just read it real quick. He said, as bad as the IG report is for the FBI and others, and it is really bad, remember that IG Horowitz was appointed by Obama. There was tremendous bias and guilt exposed, so obvious, but Horowitz couldn't get himself to say it. Big credibility loss. Obama knew everything. Greg, do you understand how powerful that is coming from the President of the United States? See, the language now is beginning to progress. It's beginning to get more aggressive, and they're exposing the fact that all roads are leading to Obama when it comes to this. Now, right under that, you had Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch, came out and literally responded to the president and said, Obama can still be impeached.
Can you see if you can put that to the camera?
Yep.
Move it over, other way.
There we go.
There you go.
Obama can still be impeached.
Wow. Tom Fitton at Judicial Watch.
Yep.
Obama.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So now he can still be impeached. Is this how he gets ripped and stripped of the presidency? Could be. I'm still a firm believer. What God has been showing me is that Obama will be charged with treason and he will go to prison. That's how he's going to really be ripped and stripped of the presidency. Now, if he's ripped and stripped of the presidency, does this null and void everything that he has in fact done? All his executive orders, including 2 Supreme Court justices. Is this going to null and void all this?
You think there's going to be lots of revelations about Obama, and he sealed his college transcripts. Everybody's talking about his birth certificate. I say he spent millions of dollars sealing his college transcripts. Of course, we don't really have a press in the country. We have a propaganda, and they won't ask. I mean, everything's known completely and totally about every other president, whether it's Bush or whether it's Trump, Ben Carson. His whole, background was looked into because he was a brilliant, pediatric neurosurgeon, and questioning whether he was offered a West Point commission, which I believe he was. But Obama's college records totally, totally off limits and sealed.
Right. Right. And, and here's the other thing is that there's talk saying that to avoid the treasonous outcome, which we all know what happens if you're charged with treason. We all know what the penalty is for treason. That he will claim Kenyan citizenship to avoid that. Now, we all saw the video of him saying that he was the first president to come from Kenya. That was a slip of the tongue. Now, is that true? I don't know. We'll find out.
When you took a lot of heat for saying that he would be ripped and stripped of the presidency. You took a lot of heat.
Yes,
This
I
is
did.
before we knew all this.
Right.
And now we're finding
Right.
out
Now-
even the president of the United States, the current president at 45, is saying Obama knew everything. And that falls right in line with his director of national intelligence, DNI Clapper. Obama told us to do this.
Right. So all roads are leading to Obama right now. And again, for that tough talk coming from the president like that, pointing it out that Obama knew everything, this is just put a whole new dynamic on everything right now. And again, again, take the vote like we're talking about, the impeachment vote. Like the president said, hurry up, take the vote where we can have the Senate trial so we can call some of these people in and start giving testimony so that the world can see exactly what these guys in fact have been doing.
And Rudy Giuliani, who's a bad mamma jamma federal prosecutor, before he was mayor of New York City, he was in the Southern District of New York, and he's been over in Ukraine, and he says Yovanovitch, the ambassador, was corrupt. That's why he pushed her out. He said he talked about multi-billion-dollar money laundering and corruption scheme with members of the Ukrainian government and the Obama administration, including Biden.
Yep.
I mean, this thing is, of course, you have the press like Jonathan Karl. My sources say, everybody in the White House is wondering why the president's allowing me to do. Excuse me, stop, hold the presses. Jonathan Karl, your sources? What are your sources? What are your you mean those sources that allow you to say anything you want to say and keep them secret? I mean, the press is propaganda. They're freaking out that Giuliani is doing this. And he's not like me doing it. He's a former federal prosecutor. I think this guy knows how to make a case on somebody.
Well, he took on the mob just like Donald Trump did years ago. And so when you look at Giuliani, and he's also saying he's got new revelations coming out on some of this stuff, they're freaking out right now at this point. Again, you got to remember, we have so many sealed indictments right now at this point. We really don't know what the number is. I haven't seen the last indictment numbers. But these guys are going to go to prison. The fake news, he's labeled the fake news for a reason. They're the enemy of the people for a reason because they're indoctrinating and mind controlling the people into thinking something and perceiving something one way when in fact it's the total opposite.
They told a lie that he was a Russian spy basically for 2 years, and that wasn't it. And then they're asking the president, these senior reporters at NBC, stupid. Do you really think people were spying on the president? The Foreign Surveillance Intelligence Act court in surveillance, they got phony warrants.
Yeah.
Yes, they were spying, according to William Barr and the evidence.
Well, and the last line of the Commander-in-Chief prophecy that back in 2011 that God gave us, talking about Donald Trump going to be the president, it said that mainstream media will begin to agree with him. Now, at what point and what is it going to take for mainstream media to agree with him? Now, CNN just came out with a little headline saying that, yes, Donald Trump is there to take down the elite or something like that. I don't remember what the quote was here. But, I mean, my jaw dropped. And it's like, okay, is this the start? Is this to really start? Because is the fear of God actually starting to get into some of these people because they're getting nervous because they know there's an indictment with their name on it?
What did the commander-in-chief, and listen, so everybody knows this too, all your prophecies are free. Right. You don't really make a lot of money on this book, although it's a lovely book, but you guys don't cheat, you just sell the books. And you are a retired firefighter because you retired early. But anyway, but the prophecies for free, just basically the commander-in-chief prophecy is about, it's about Trump, we know.
It's about Donald Trump. It's about how America would prosper. It's about how our ties with Israel will be stronger than ever before. The dollar will be the strongest that it's ever been in the history. All these different things. It goes into great detail. It was written April 28th, 2011, saying that he would be the president. But in that last line, it's that last line that's yet to come to pass about the mainstream media. Now, a lot of this mainstream media will be, Greg, after they indict a lot of these people, they go to prison, and he cleans the media out. Because at some point, the media will be cleaned out. And I honestly believe that God's got some righteous journalists and people like that waiting in the wings to take their spot.
I don't see how some of these entities can even survive.
Look at
I'm
CNN.
serious.
Yeah, look at CNN right now. They're hurting.
CNN was the most trusted name in news when I was there. We paid James Earl Jones, I don't know, $1 million a year to CNN, the most trusted name in news. That's a joke. That's a joke. They got
right.
I mean, they just lied.
They're hanging on by a thread. A lot of these people are. They're hanging on by a thread right now. I think they're just waiting for the hammer to drop at this point.
And you and you say that you know, a lot of people are thinking nobody's going to go to jail. This is going to be business as usual. And you think that the deep state is really angsting. I just had Kevin Shipp on, brilliant guy, counterintelligence expert, real whistleblower, a former CIA officer that got punished for blowing the whistle about things at the CIA that get his fellow officers killed. And they didn't like him blowing the whistle on it. But anyway, I digress. But he said that this thing with Holder, Eric Holder, the former attorney general, he says that he's talking for Obama. That's basically what he's saying. What do you think about this coming out and the threats, veiled or not so veiled threats by Eric Holder, and about you know, the craziness of this impeachment and making up charges? Now they want to put Trump in jail for 20 years for wire fraud, money laundering. I mean, you know, fake the stuff they made up. What do you think about what's going on? What you read about the deep state, New World Order, globalist, satanic weasels that we're facing?
Well, look, right now on a spiritual plane right now, what you're seeing taking place is you're dealing with a wounded, cornered animal. I like to use the gator analogy, where you catch a gator and he does a death roll. That's where the cabal's at. They've been caught. They're in the death roll. Now, the death roll, it can be the most dangerous part of this entire operation right now. We're coming to the crescendo of this whole thing. So we've already had, FISA's been released. Horowitz's report's been released. So now we're waiting on Derm's report to be released. D-class probably comes after that. Then the indictments, and then the arrests. Now, again, they know they're in trouble, but what you're seeing on a spiritual perspective here, Greg, is you're dealing with demonic entities that are in control of these people, in control of the systems, but also in control of these people that they cannot control themselves. And that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with powers, principalities, demons, and you're seeing it. People that get this reaction, you'll see videos coming across of Pelosi where something might manifest with her or some other person on TV. It's because these demons aren't hiding it right now. This is why you're seeing people going crazy right now in these different communities. Is because they're literally manifesting right before people's eyes in the natural right now. Everything happens in the spiritual first, then it will manifest in the natural. And people just aren't used to seeing it right now. And this is the war that we're engaged in right now.
Well, you have the governor of Virginia, Northam, who there's banners flying on the overpasses saying that they turned Virginia blue because of massive immigration, illegal immigration. And then he's got both houses in the state capitol of the Senate and the House of the Virginia state capitol. He's going to pass strict gun control laws. He's talking about using the Virginia National Guard to go into places that are deeming themselves Second Amendment sanctuary counties. And he's going to go in and take everybody's guns away using the National Guard. I mean, this is reported.
Right.
I'm not making this is not some tinfoil. This is reported. Northam's going to use the governor of Virginia, the National Guard, to take away guns.
Well, right. Now, here's the other thing with this. People have to understand with the Democrats. They're doing everything they can to create chaos or to create civil unrest or even a civil war. That's not going to go down well to have the National Guard going door to door trying to confiscate guns in Virginia. That's not going to end well. That could end up very badly. So whoever the National Guard is, the head of the National Guard there, if they were smart, they would be saying, we're not going to be doing this. This goes against the Constitution. So, I mean, I think you were talking about earlier, the DOJ could actually maybe step in and stop some of this. But the point being is Virginia really blue? Do we have as many blue states and blue zones as we think we do? Or is it actually voter and illegal or voter fraud and election fraud? I think it's voter fraud and election fraud. I don't think we have as many blue states and blue zones as we think we do. So did Virginia actually turn blue? Possibly because the illegal, but also why are the illegals voting? Because it's electoral and voter fraud that's going on there. These people aren't. This governor probably doesn't even belong there.
He's the one that wants to kill babies that make it out of an abortion. You know, put them in a room and keep them comfortable and let them die.
Right.
This is this guy.
Right.
That's fact. That's not what I think. That's fact. That's what he said.
That's the entire Democratic Party right now. That's their entire agenda right now.
A baby killing.
Baby killing.
44 senators voted to kill a baby that made it out of U.S. senators made it out of an abortion. 44.
Right.
44.
Yep.
And what do you think about the Democrats in general, their policies? I mean, if you look at the debates, and I held my nose and watched them. I did a live stream on one of them, and I watched the debates, and it's just they're trying to out crazy each other. Who wants to give illegal aliens medical benefits? Then you have the Green New Deal, which is out of tens of trillions of dollars, and really a control mechanism to take your property, because they have to take your guns before they start stealing your property, because the Democrats are a party of theft. What do you think of the whole idea where these guys are just revealing themselves? They want a universal basic income, gun control, no borders, no border patrol, sanctuary cities, prioritize illegal aliens over the citizens of America. I mean, I go on. What do you think about the whole Democrat Party as a whole? Is this what you're talking about? This is a demon-possessed party?
Well, look, it is the demons that are driving these people. It is what's in control, the entities that are in control of these people they've handed themselves over to. You can hand your DNA over to the enemy, and this is what basically has happened to some of these people. And so when you look at the Democratic Party, this is the death of the Democratic Party. They're being allowed to do this so that they will show their true colors. You're seeing this walk-away movement from the Democratic Party right now. You will not see another Democrat in the White House for many, many years, if ever again. That's why they're being allowed to go through with this impeachment process, because they're actually voting for their own death in their party. And by the way, look, they're even instituting rules right now, Greg, and to how to impeach this president. They're making the rules up as they go along. They're instituting new rules on how to do this. That will be exactly probably the same rules they will use to boomerang effect to come back and impeach Obama.
You think this thing gets when you first said this, it was kind of out there that Obama will be ripped and stripped. This is your prophecy, right? But now we're finding out even his underlings are ratting him out, D&I Clapper, and now and the president of the United States saying Obama knew everything?
Knew everything. And this president has not been wrong when he says something like that. He has not been wrong yet. You better take it to the bank when he says something and tweets it out.
And you think that this is, they're laying the groundwork to go after Obama?
Yes, I think they're laying the groundwork to go after Obama, to go after the Clintons, to go after them all right now. And listen, I even prophesied, it was a month before that prophecy came out about Obama being ripped and stripped in 2015, that the Clintons would be taken down and they would be exposed for everything that they've done. Look what you're seeing happening with Epstein. Look what you're seeing happening with all these different people, El Chapo, all these different people that are naming names. El Chapo was naming names of politicians he paid off to bring in human smugglers, human trafficking, child trafficking, the drugs, all these things. So you have all these things being exposed. The Clintons are going to go down. Obama's going to go down. They're all going to go down. This is a plan in place to literally take down the deep state cabal.
I want you to give me a kind of a pep talk, because I'm kind of negative. Okay, I'm negative on all the debt. I say this all the time because I don't want people to think I'm a never Trumper. I'm not a never Trumper. I love the president. We would have been in a depression. I've said this a million times. If Hillary Clinton would have come in, but I think that they knew this was going to blow up. They know this is. Right. We're never paying that debt back. But how it gets handled with Trump, as opposed to the evil, wicked witch of the East, Hillary, how that was going to get handled was going to be something totally different. And the swamp voted 96% for her. Okay, so how he's going to handle this is going to be totally different. I don't see how we do it without getting default. What's your appraisal about all the crazy stuff in the repo market and the tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars between now and the middle of January in the repo market? And I know you're not an economist. I know you're not an expert in the economy. And I'm not trying to trip you up. I just want to get your read on the economy, because you say, hey, listen, your prophecies were America's going to be better than it ever was. The dollar's going to be better. We're going to be stronger. But getting there is, who knows how much pain it is to get there. But go ahead. Your appraisal of the economy, what's going on?
I think the economy is booming, just like the president has said. Could they be propping some things up in preparation for something? Yes, possibly. I'm not an economist. I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know what each step of the way is going to be. But I think at some point they're going to take the Fed down. I think at some point maybe even the IRS may go away. I have no clue. There's been a lot of talk about that. How he takes the debt down, I don't know. I do know that America is a corporation. Some of that could play into this. So I really don't know, honestly.
Are you talking about the 1871 Corporation of America?
Yep.
You're saying that he might dissolve the corporation?
Possibility. I don't know. There's been a lot of talk of that, dissolving that corporation. So I mean, that's the whole thing. How do we get to this point of taking down the debt? I know Kim Clement prophesied years ago that it would be a simple stone or something like that would take it down, if I'm quoting that correctly. Now, there's many aspects to a stone that make up a stone, you know what I mean? But I mean, still, it would be something simple. Could it be something as simple as that? I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. I really don't. I just know at some point it'll be handled. I just know that.
And you think it'll be handled to the advantage of America?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Obviously, there's going to be some pain involved, right?
Look, I've said on your show before, there's not going to be a depression. We're not going to have a depression. We're not going to go into a depression. Could there be a reset of some kind? Again, I'm not an economist. I don't know how this works. Yes, there could be a reset of some kind. Could there be a little bit of pain involved? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I just know God is in this thing. He has plans for America to prosper America like never before, because America, the other prophecies that I've written called America, America, talked about how America was going to receive its harvest. We have sown seeds, Greg, since the inception of America, all over the globe. The 90% of the gospel that goes out across the earth comes from America. So when you look at this, America has never reaped its harvest. And God is saying right now, I'm going to bring America's harvest in, and it's going to be a sevenfold return. So how do you do that if we go into a depression? How do you do that if we have a really bad reset and things get bad? You can't do that. So at some point, I think God's going to step in and say, hey, this is how we're going to do this. And I know he's got a plan with the president and those around the president who are with him, acting on, with the president. And so, but God's going to act on this at some point. And so what the plan is, how they get there, that part I do not know.
Did it help us to move our embassy to Jerusalem? Was there more to that than just meets the eye?
Yes, spiritually speaking, yes, I do believe that. Spiritually speaking, I believe, because again, they go back to the commander-in-chief prophecy where he said that the ties between Israel and America will be stronger than ever before. And so, God is very serious when he's talking about protecting his people and protecting his land. That's God's land over there. So when you look at America moving to Jerusalem, their embassy to Jerusalem, and others were jumping on board as well, that now gives credibility that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, so to speak.
And I just wanted to have you on because I could get kind of negative, and I'm guilty of it, and I want you to come on and straighten me out. And give us something opposite, because I like to put a lot of different views on. Right. And I do think America is, people say we're bankrupt. Yeah, but there's a lot of assets in America. America's got a lot to fight for. America's that's why people want to take it over.
Right.
And so because you tell people not to be negative.
Right.
And explain your idea here for people, because I have people come on and go, nobody's going to go to jail and everybody's going to stay the same. I have people tell me that all the time, and I want to tell them, I do tell them, go give up someplace else.
Right.
Please.
Right.
Well, I don't know why you feel you have to come on here and give up publicly with an anonymous name usually, but go give up someplace else. I don't want to give up either. I mean, I don't want to give up.
Right.
I mean, I want people to be prepared. I want people to be informed, but I don't want to give up. I think Americans are fighting for it. So if you would please explain why you need to have a good attitude and why the negativity and how many people are negative. You've said this before, but give us your take on the negativity of the way people think not to be negative.
Right. Okay. So most people you can get addicted to the doom and gloom message. And the problem is, even in the churches, the doom and gloom message has been preached for 40, 50 years. And, the Lord told me a while back, because he says, look, that's when I wrote the prophecy called Satan's Frequency. He was telling these pastors and these leaders to repent, because you're no longer, they thought that when they were preaching the doom and gloom message, that this is the end of this is the apocalypse, this, that, and the other, is that, we're saving lives. We're trying to save people through a fear-based message. And what the Lord is saying now is that, no, that's not saving lives. You're actually taking lives, and you need to repent. And so, because I was getting the emails, Greg, is that people were saying, hey, Mark, I heard your message about not being the doom and gloom. And they said, they literally admitted to me, I was addicted to doom and gloom. I was literally fixing to commit suicide until I heard your message of hope. I rededicated my life to Christ, and I'm back in the fight again. So you can become addicted to doom and gloom. So I tell people, get off of Satan's frequency, get onto heaven's frequency, listen to what the Lord has. The problem is people see with their natural eyes. They see nobody's going to jail. They see nobody's going to straighten out the electoral process. I get these emails all the time. And it's like, look, don't come on my Twitter feed injecting that kind of poison into people. You have to look at faith. What is God saying? God is saying that all of this is going to get straightened out. God is saying that these people are going to go to prison. Is it going to take time? You're talking about, what, 200 years plus of stuff that we're trying to take down here. It's going to take time. And people want, we live in this microwave society where they want something right now, right now. And one of the worst things is this little thing right here, because everything's at our fingertips. We have information right now, and they want it done right now. And it doesn't work like that with God. So it takes faith. What has God told us? He's told us these things are going to happen. They're coming to pass right before our very eyes. And if people right now can't see that something's being done, you really need to tune in to heaven's frequency. You really need to get rid of the Satan's frequency that you're listening to. Turn the channel.
Mark Taylor, I knew you could come on. I pray that I have the right people on at the right time. I actually pray for this. I do. And I have another interview, but you're the last booking that I have, the last slot that I have open, because I have people I have to book. Right. But you're the last slot I have. You did not disappoint me. I also, people think you make a ton of money off this book, and you really don't. Tom Horn's a great guy. This is a fantastic book. You did make some money. I'm not trying to put it down. This is the second printing of it. If you don't have it, you all should have it. I'll put a link to the Amazon page that this is on at the end. But you retired early at 20 years. You didn't get your full pension. You've been toying, and I'm bringing this up because I want to find out about it myself. You have something. You have swordrescue.com. That's where your prophecies are. I'll put a link up for that so you can see all your current prophecies, your latest prophecies. But I know you haven't had one for a while. But you have swordrescue.us, where your business of a rescue type device to be able to pull somebody out of a burning building, or off the battlefield, or out of your car going to the vet. Tell me about your swordrescue.us that you're just getting off the ground.
It's sword.us.
Sword, S-O-R-D.us.
SORD.us. And I invented a product that you can rescue military, fire service, law enforcement. Was going for a while. We were having some difficulties getting off the ground, but we now have it off the ground. We're actively taking orders now and filling those orders now. So I appreciate everyone's patience. I know some people have been waiting to order it, and we thank you for your patience. But go to sword.us. You can order it now. But what we found out, Greg, honestly, was by accident that the home market was actually huge. And so for senior citizens living in someone's home, because we have a lot of people who may have mom and dad living at home with them, they fall, so that you don't hurt themselves or yourself, picking them up and putting them back to bed. Because a lot of times with senior citizens, if you pick them up wrong, you can actually break bones. And this will stop that. The other thing with the home market was the pet market, is that I have people like my personal vet herself uses 2 of these. If they get a big bull mastiff or something comes in the back seat of a car, they can't get him out if he's unconscious or injured. So they can put him on this. They can easily get him out of the car and get him into surgery or help them with their rescue.
It's a Kevlar type dragging device, correct?
Correct.
Well, Kevlar.
We've got 3 different models. We've got a 100% Kevlar, like for military. We've got a hybrid military or a Kevlar nylon, and then we also have the home model, which is like it's a 2,000 pound capacity. It's basically like a little bit like of a cotton duct type material, but it's a lot stronger than cotton duct. It's made with fire service military grade materials. So if a homeowner buys this, it'll probably last them the rest of their life, depending on what they're doing with it.
Yeah, you're a former firefighter, first responder, given CPR and aid and first aid and things like that. You've done a lot of this kind of stuff. I appreciate it. And your website is SORD.us.
Correct.
And there's a phone number and a page and people to talk to if they're looking into this. And I'll put it on there. I'll put swordrescue.com. That's where your prophecies are, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'll put the page up for that. And I also put your business page up as well. I hope you're a big success on this, my friend. I hope it's been a few years you've been working on this, and I'm happy that you're going to move forward to help people navigate very nasty situations where somebody is hurt or somebody needs help or something like that. I really appreciate you coming on. One last thing I just wanted to get in here is I just want to know what your predictions are for 2020. I've got Gerald Salenti on later. He's going to give his 2020 predictions. Do you have any predictions for 2020? What do you think is going to be, what 2020 year is going to be all about, or Anything you have for us?
Yeah, 2020 is going to be a dynamic year, man. I mean, because the president will get his second term. He's going to sail right into office. I've said this before, even before he was elected. I originally said that the economy would be booming. We'd have the strongest military in history. We'd have all these different things going on right now. You know, the walls being built, America's being secured, the child trafficking, all the satanic trafficking or the satanic ritual abuse is being put to a stop. The human trafficking is being put to a stop. All these things would be coming to pass. You're going to see, look at the judges. We didn't get a chance to talk about the judges. Look at the judges that he's putting in right now. The Supreme Court is going to be reformed. Roe versus Wade will be going down. So his second term is going to be fantastic.
We just flipped the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which was
Yes, we
this
did.
lefty liberal court, which John Roberts, the Chief Justice, there are no liberal judges. Really? You think that there, Mr. Chief Justice Roberts? So you think it's going to be a big year for America?
I think it's going to be his second term period is going to be huge. But I think 2020 is going to be exciting. Are we going to have some issues along the way? Yeah, we're always going to have some issues. There's no way of getting around that. But I want to focus on the good things. The good things is look at what God has already done through Donald Trump. You know, it's not Donald Trump's agenda. Everybody wants to attack Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump's agenda, guys. This is heaven's agenda. This is God's agenda. He's simply using Donald Trump and those around him to institute heaven's agenda.
I'm going to leave it right there. Mark Taylor, the firefighter that correctly predicted Donald Trump would be president and is predicting that the President Obama is going to be ripped and stripped of his presidency. And they're even talking about that now. You said that, what, 2 or 3, when we first came on, he said about 3 years ago, and now even Tom Fitton at Judicial Watch is saying, hey, Obama can still be impeached. So that's very, very powerful. So for all you folks there watching this on YouTube, the links to sword.us and also the prophecies, I'll put links up for both. Those are free. The sword.us is about your invention, which helps transport people who are injured or sick or passed out or whatever. I will put that on the after the interview section for usawatchdog.com. Mark Taylor, thank you for joining us today on usawatchdog.com, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you for having me. It's always an honor. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well.